It's a monumental day. Webfishing came out 1 year ago today, on October 11th, except Wikipedia says October 12th. That's the only source that says that. Can we fix this? And I mean, there's a lot of games that, like you'll see a game pop up and you're like, wow, this sounds really cool. But usually with those games, it's like, okay, cool concept, and then you play it and then you're kind of done with it after a little while. Webfishing is one of those rare games where exactly what I thought it was is exactly what it was. I got excited over what I thought the game could be, and then as I played it, I realized that's exactly what this game is. Like, yeah, it's fishing on the web, but it's just like so heavily a character customizer, a chat room, and you can play the guitar. That was the thing that surprised me the most, like when I first started playing. Like, I saw people with the guitar, and I figured it would just be an item that, like, when you click it, it makes a strum sound. Turns out, nah, the developer just straight up put an entire, like, MIDI controller in the game. I was geeked at that point. This would be plenty of this is just silly fishing game that lets you customize a cat. You're telling me there's, like, a fully fledged, like, music player, and you can draw on the floor. I was following the patch notes as this was updated, because the developer kept updating it for, like, about 3 months after it came out. And you could tell by the updates that their priorities were exactly where I'd hoped they would be. They were adding new tags you could use. They added new props so that you could do, like, I don't know, you could, like, set up a campfire or go on a picnic or, have a little, like, therapy session. I think it was when they added the green screen that I was like, this is perfect. They know people are making, like, silly edits in this. You can be first person, you can be third person, you can even go free cam. Like, it almost just feels like you're in, like, a chat room spatializer. Like, this isn't even a game. You're just kind of being your preferred avatar. Although, of course, it seems like there's a large flannel bias. Perhaps that's the developer's fashion bias seeping through. And of course, I don't know if I can get around this without saying the word nostalgia. It looks like a game that's way older than it is. I was talking to my friend about how it was the 1 year anniversary of this game. I introduced it as like, hey, you know that game that I won't stop talking about? Yeah, it's the 1 year anniversary today. And they were like, I thought it came out like a decade ago. Like, of course, there's the Animal Crossing influence. When I look at it, I'm also reminded of like Amju Pet Zoo. If anybody knew what that was, I never played it. I just sat over my friend's shoulder while she played it. But it has that perfect vibe of like the game kind of feeling community based and social in nature, and yet it taking place in an area that's just so liminally, endlessly isolated. Like, this place is freaky. There's nothing here. But in these spaces is where these lobbies of people come together and chat about whatever's on their mind. 80% of the time it's recent breakups. One of my first video games ever was Club Penguin, and Webfishing follows in the same lineage of that game. It's a chatting game. Club Penguin had mini games. Webfishing has fishing. Except, of course, in Club Penguin you couldn't buy beer and cigarettes. It's like we're reliving that, but it has that PG-13 raunchiness to it. And so combine that feeling with like that phenomenon that happened with the pandemic where people kind of trauma bonded to games like Animal Crossing. I mean, you remember that? That was like how people lived for a while. That was real life for a lot of people. And I never played Animal Crossing. I didn't have a Switch. That being said, I love Animal Crossing. Very good aesthetic. Little bit of my anthropomorphic bias coming through. And also I get how it was an isolating time. I don't think it hit me the worst because like I was already morbidly online. And in a way, it was pretty awesome for like the culture around internet shenanigans, because you had people who were like really not computer people, kind of like having online friends for the first time. Like, I grew up with the pretense of like, people treating the internet like stranger danger. And believe me, it's very real still. But it gets to be ridiculous when you've known people for like 5, 6, 7+ years, and I'm like still withholding basic information because I just have that thought in the back of my head. And then with lockdown times, it's like even your real life friends are now your online friends, And it's cool that these online relationships kind of became like a shared cultural experience among people. It felt like normies were down in the mud with us internet gremlins for a bit. I'm not trying to be chronically online or anything. I'm aware that this is my lineage, so to speak. This is like what put fuel to the fire on like the hyperpop scene. Like, I get now that people say hyperpop is dead. Hyperpop didn't really have a sound. so much as it had a specific cultural moment. So like, yeah, I guess we're beyond the cultural moment that inspired this music. Once the lockdown stopped, people returned to their lives, presumably. But I don't know, like the declaration of that cultural moment being over was like really sad. For me, I was online before, and then after the pandemic, I'm still online. A lot of my creative interactions happen online, and it's weird for there to be like a mild consensus that like, oh, okay, that moment's over, that moment's dead. I don't know, the online space is still largely my village, and so web fishing dredges up a lot of those feelings where it's like, here's a place where we are communally isolated, and a bunch of strangers bond over the deepest topics, all the while we're drawing, we're playing music together. What the hell? We were playing Clint Eastwood. Oh yeah, and there's fish too, but I don't know. I have like 200 hours in this game, and I've never even upgraded past camp level 3. The intrigue of the game is something underlying the actual gameplay loop. And it's like built into the game that if you want to communicate yourself through a drawing, you can just do that. If you want to do that through music, you can do that. You want to just click the G button. I swear, I don't even say hi when I first join lobbies. I just walk up behind people and bark at them. It works great. It's really quite friendly. I know it sounds aggressive. So obviously this game isn't for everybody, but for my own experiences and biases, this is like the game of all time. It like lives on the shelf of media that is significant to my personhood. I mean, just for context, like I was calling this the best game ever like in the first couple weeks after it dropped, before they fixed like the weird desync issues that some people had. I was one of the people that had the desync issue. Multiplayer was unplayable for me. I still thought it was the coolest thing ever. Thank goodness lame dev fixed that before disappearing. Now my game only gets laggy if there's like more than 9 people in a lobby. And it never desyncs. Every web fishing lobby is a privilege compared to those days. So web fishing is 1 year old. I'd like to wish a happy birthday to web fishing. You are the game of time. You are.